I was born without ears. Now, I can see that this is true because some people are born without stuff. Let's begin.
It is often accepted that our senses are the instruments that aid in a happy, comfortable lifestyle. Our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin are crucial sense organs that aid in our survival. But imagine being born with no ears and consequently having no sense of hearing. I was lucky enough to be born that way. Note the sarcasm. Yes, it's true. I was born without ears and had no sense of hearing. My name is Amelia, and I am 25 years old. I'm going to tell about the struggles I faced as someone who had no ears. My mother often tells me the story of my birth and how heartbroken she was when she found out about my condition. "Can I see my baby?" my ecstatic mother had asked after delivery. When I was nestled in her arms and she moved the fold of cloth to look upon my tiny face, she gasped. The doctor had turned quickly and looked outside the tall hospital window. The baby, that is, I, had been born without ears. Time proved that even my hearing was affected too. It was not only my appearance that was marred. I was born with just earlobes where my ears should have been. I had inner ears on both sides, but the right side was underdeveloped. My right jawbone was about half the size of its counterpart, giving me an uneven jawline. I lived in a small town, so the doctors were not qualified enough to tell us what had happened to me. Because of this, I couldn't attend school as I grew up. My parents didn't have money to spend on the surgery that the doctors in the city had suggested. Aside from having difficulties in communicating, my condition also made day-to-day activities more dangerous. When I was about 7 years old, I had walked to the corner store by myself because I was sick of staying cooped up in my house and having no friends. As I was crossing the road, I got hit by a bus because I could not hear that it was already coming. I was confined in the hospital for several days and underwent physical therapy and rehabilitation via a makeshift apparatus set up by my father at home. My father tied ropes to a rung. Every day, I would use the ropes to pull myself up and drag my legs so that I could relearn how to walk again. I did that for 2 months. After this incident, my parents arrived at the conclusion that communication had become a necessity now. They took out a health loan, and I was given a bone conduction hearing aid band that allowed sound vibrations to reach the inner ear. My family took me to California from our home in New Jersey to meet a specialist. He went on to perform 6 of the 9 surgeries I had between the ages of 7 and 12, giving me the ability of improved hearing. Soon after this, my parents enrolled me in a school. Naturally, I was much behind the other students as I had started out late. This only added to the stigma that was attached to me. I distinctly remember my school days when I used to rush home from school and throw myself into my mother's arms. She would sigh, knowing that my life was to be a succession of hardships. A boy, a big boy, called me a freak. I used to blurt out my tragedy to my mother. That was how I was mostly treated in school, like I was some alien. No one.
No, that's messed up, man. People who bully people who can't control how they are, that's messed up, man. I hope that bully goes to hell, man.
No one ever wanted to associate with me. They were content with making fun of my condition. After some time, I decided that I couldn't take it anymore. I was determined to change their attitude towards me. If I was lacking in one aspect, I decided that I could make up for it by excelling in every other aspect. I started working hard in my studies. I had to work more than the others because I was behind them. It took a lot of sweat and tears, but ultimately, I started catching up with everyone. After a few years, I started becoming the top of my class. Everyone started respecting me, and no one dared make fun of me anymore. I became a favorite with my fellow students and was even elected for the class president. I also developed a gift, a talent for literature and writing. Everything was finally starting to look up. But happiness never lasts long for unfortunate people like me. Because of all the loan my parents had taken for the treatment of my condition, our financial condition had become worse by the time I graduated high school. I had to drop a year so that I could work some odd jobs to support my family and collect for my college. But I was fired from every job I joined because customers were apparently scared of me. This went on for weeks before a cafe owner took pity on me and employed me on a 9-to-5 as a waiter. Now, I earn a little above the minimum wage and endure almost an hour of commute daily. But for me, this kind of lifestyle is more than enough. Now, you probably want
That's messed up, man. They can't. That's messed up because they're scared. What? Okay. This video is just, it's sad and depressing. Okay, guys. Bye.